I don't hold anything back. If you've watched my YouTube videos, you know that. I don't hold knowledge hostage for a financial reward. You'll never buy any knowledge of mine that wasn't also free because I share everything. That's the good news. What's the bad news? Well, the bad news is that I share everything. I have over 100 uploaded videos to YouTube answering your slots questions, explaining my strategies, state-by-state slots reviews, many short playlists of videos on various slots topics, and weekly live streams where I present a specific topic that answers your questions. And that's the good news. All that is free. Have at it. The bad news is there are hundreds of hours to watch on YouTube or listen to on my podcast episodes. I think I'm up to 143 with this one. Sure, maybe you're a long-term audience member listening and watching for years, so you're all caught up. But I did the math. 94% of you have found me since late last year. So is there some efficient way to get caught up? Yes, there is. Or rather, to help you do that, I've created several ways to help you get caught up. First off, you can get an overview of my content as it existed in 2018 by reading my book, Learning to Win: How to Make a Profit at Slot Machine Casino Gambling. This is what the cover looks like. You can't see the full thing, but that's what the cover looks like when you go to Amazon. It's available on Amazon, and I will share that for you. On Amazon, where are you at? Not to give away what yes. So this is Amazon. I put this link into the video description, and I'll put it into the podcast episode show notes. As you can see here, there is a ebook, an audiobook, hardcover, and paperback versions, all available on Amazon. And those are the costs that I don't have a lot of control over some of these costs because they decide how much it's going to cost. And oh my goodness, I'll get to the donations in just a moment and recognize all of them. My goodness, everybody seems to understand that if you want to ask a question during the live chat, I'll interrupt at the good moment. Well, okay, fine. So we have, first off is Magpie. Magpie 11 says, we appreciate you. P.S. The Facebook communities are starting to be sharing and connecting platforms. Thanks. Yes, something pretty exciting is happening on my Facebook groups. I have 57 of them. One for each state, territory, and federal district, and one that's kind of like for the world, or at least English-speaking part of it. And people are putting up their results of trying my strategies and lots of discussion. Lots of people are joining. I prevent the robots. You have to actually ask to join, and then I don't let the robots in. And as best I can tell, otherwise you pretty much get in. There's community rules and all that. But I've had it for about 2 years. August will, I think, be 2 years that I've had these. And they grew slow. Beginning of June, I had 1,100 members and Professor Slots Enthusiasts, the one that's for the world of English-speaking part of it. And beginning of July, it was 2,400, so it more than doubled. And then right now it's pushing 5,000. So I'm getting about 200 members per day. It's kind of freaking me out. But it's great to see that kind of growth. Somewhere, somehow, Facebook is suggesting it and recommending it. I don't have access to advertising. It's forbidden for my topic. But YouTube can, apparently they like the results. The well-behaved audience, partly because of the community rules. And so as a result, after 2 years of effort, suddenly I'm exploding. And that's what Magpie was talking about. Okay, and now we have Chuck. Chuck says hello. He's donating blood today, so I'll be listening but not participating. Thank you, Chuck. Good luck with the bloodletting. You're a good man. And We have, I think, a question from Smarty Pants. Donation. Still figuring out how to adjust the donation amount. Wanted to give you $20 for helping me get a small jackpot this week. You're very welcome. It depends if you're on the. It depends if you are on the a desktop or on the mobile phone. And if you're on a mobile phone, if you're on an Android device or a Apple device, there should be a slider. Okay. And I will remove that and get back to our topic. I think I've caught up in donations. I'm getting comments that things are blurry, but I don't see that on my screen. So I will move on and hope it gets better. As you know, last week we had a little bit of choppiness. I'm out in farmland, but it seemed like, it's not like Google fiber or anything like that, the connection. So hopefully everything will get fixed. Apologies if the connection isn't that great, and hope it clears up for you. It looks like it's fine on my end. It's not my camera. Okay. So there's the book. That is a way for people to get caught up. All the 94% of you who haven't been around from the beginning and have been watching all along. There is, as I said, on Amazon, the 4 different versions are available there. But I also have on my website, and I'll put this note here as well in the video description and podcast episode show notes, that I also sell it as a PDF. Now, Amazon, I'm going to have to make sure and check the agreement. Can I say they take 70%? I don't know. But 100% goes to me, except for processing fees. A few pennies if you buy it from my website. Just letting you know, people have asked me what's the best way to get it to me instead of YouTube taking it. Whatever. All right. So the PDF, but you can get the PDF. It's downloadable from my website here, but you can you also get it as a bonus. As a free bonus as part of my online course, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a bit by mentioning it now. So it's so speaking of the book, it's hard to keep a 200-page book updated. So I last updated it in 2018, and it's taken a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to make revisions for that many pages, and that really wasn't the point. The point, the Learning to Win was never meant to be kept up to date month to month, not even really year to year. Its content is foundational. It tells my story about how I learned to win at slots and what it was that I learned. So you can learn from, I explain what I learned, not just, how it happened and where I went and, day-to-day trip reports and all that. Honestly, it's a little bit more fun than that, but I try to be entertaining in it and explain, my feelings about winning a car. And then, and my research beforehand that helped me decide to take the money, etc. So I go into the slot enthusiast lifestyle and where all this stuff comes from to build really credibility. So, I'm not where this came from. But what I do keep updated so that you have the best information I can make available to you. It's all the free stuff, and that's okay if you're caught up. But if you're trying to get caught up, if you want to get updated, caught up, there's my online course. So I'm just breezing through this just to show you. Let's see. Right. And so if you go to, did I do this? I don't think I did do it. So the link is in the show notes and the video episode, but you can go to you can go to courses.professorslots.com and you'll see this page. And here you'll see the course curriculum. Each one of these expands so you can see what each lesson is about and the bonus content, the strategies, and where I go over them, and basic walkthrough of course curriculum, the syllabus. And this is where you would sign up. So That is a way for you to get up cut up quickly. Now, this is it still says here in the title, it's the beta version, and this is this foundational content, this up to date within a few months at least, rather than a few years. This is going to be updated in early August. I made this originally in early May. It's a discounted beta version, $100 off of the final permanent cost price, which I'll be offering when I update it from the beta version. I'm going to update it using a lot of feedback from the beta testers. Some of you are here live in the live chat or listening in the podcast later. Thanks so much for all your feedback. I'm incorporating that and what I also learned myself by creating an online course for the first time. I've created courses before, but it's at university. So this was my first strictly online using, for this business. So I've combined that information, what I've learned, what is coming from the beta testers, and I'm creating the first non-beta version, which I will be launching in early August. Due to no longer being a beta version, that next version will not be discounted. Instead, it'll be at the full price that I always wanted to offer this course at, not the beta version, but from now on, it's going to be $197 instead of the $100 off like it is right now for the beta version. Buy the beta version now, and you'll get lifetime access to all future versions, including the one that's coming out in the first week of August. So at which point I will update the whole course as I write new, and over time I will update. So don't lose out on the $100 savings, but over time I'm going to keep it updated like I can't with a book. By adding new resources per lesson from 1 month to the next. But every 6 months or so, I'm going to integrate that new content better by updating all the lesson videos. And that will be something you would get if you purchase it now. And anybody who has purchased it continues to get, there's kind of like a discussion. What do you mean by lifetime? And your lifetime, my lifetime, the lifetime of the internet, what? It is going to be a lifetime of my business. And if I, fail to make money, and I can't afford, this is my sole income now. Now that I was laid off last year from being an aerospace engineer, I've got student loans and house payments and cats to feed. And by the way, there's cats running around, but they might be sleeping. They've been running around so much that I think they're taking a nap, but you might see them. We'll talk about pets towards the end. I got some news for you. Yeah. Okay, so I do plan on updating the content in the online course, and that's a way for you to also, if you're new, 94% chance that you're new, for you to get updated, and it's $100 off right now. So, so all that, the free stuff, the book, the online course, all that is where you can, and a lot of you do, get My Slots content. And maybe through them, through those sources, you've learned a lot of useful information about what's going on with slots. But maybe it hasn't helped you enough. I get lots of questions. Some come in as YouTube comments, hundreds of them. And I spend part of each day answering them. All of them, I think. See for yourself. I also get questions emailed to me, which, again, I try to answer within 24 hours or so. If the question asked is too big, if you know what I mean, I'll write an article and create a video on it, or make it the topic of my next live stream or whenever I can fit it in. I've done lots of those. Again, all these answers to your questions are free, but were they your question? Were they your unique question relating to your needs, your frustrations with trying to win at slots, your concerns about your slots gambling performance? I realized that they were not answering your specific questions. I decided to be helpful. Sticking with my approach to having a business which helps slots enthusiasts, I decided to offer a consultation so that you could ask your questions, and I'll study your questions, and then I'll present them to you over an hour, and any others that you can bring to the table during that hour. And usually I run over, but trying not to stick to the schedule, right? So rather than go over my paid consultation landing page, which doesn't sound like it'd be very helpful, right? If you go to my website, there's consultant here. You click on that, and you'll come to my landing page, which is lots of stuff, including frequently asked questions, and there's a button to book now. You can read all that, but I'm not going to sit here and read it to you. I'm going to do something else, and I think you're going to find it interesting. So if you go to where are we at? So if you were to click the book now, this will take you to the booking page at a vendor that I use, and you'll come to this calendar. So this is this week. I offer certain days. I need to know at least 24 hours in advance. I think I actually have it set to 12 hours in advance that I have a consultation, because I need to prepare for the consultation. I don't do it cold. I prepare to answer your questions. I do research, and I look things up, and for anything that I don't already know, and just to give you the best information that's currently available. So this week, there are none on Saturday, and so I go to next week, and I have time available on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And that's basically what it looks like every week. If I were to click on 5 p.m. on Wednesday, I want to show you the booking form, because here you'd put in your name. You've chosen a time. There's a way to change what time zone you're in at the top of that calendar, but I think it kind of picks based on what your computer says. Okay, so name, email, telephone number, because sometimes Zoom has a problem and I have to call and say, are you going to join? Or, I've had people have their power go out. And so the phone number is just a backup. And then I ask questions that will help me understand what you need, and these are please list casinos where you most often play slots. That helps me give the state and specific casinos. What's your bankroll? You have a choice. I'm just looking for are you not a high roller? If you're taking a roll of quarters, where exactly are you at? And then I ask you to please write a long answer about what is it that you want to focus on. What is your specific question that you haven't gotten an answer to, or questions? The longer, the better. I say that right down here at the bottom. Please explain what you are most interested in improving or learning about playing slots. Long answers are most helpful to best address your needs. And then how long you've been playing slots, whether it's been a year, 5, or more, and then payment information. So these questions come in the form that I get. Now, let us imagine. Let's see where we're at. Yes, I think that's what I wanted to share. So let's imagine. And maybe I'll do it this way so I can zoom it in. Right. Let's imagine that I have an audience member named Dorothy. That was actually the hardest part about preparing for this live stream. What should I name my imaginary audience member who wants a consultation? Okay, I'm going to use my mother's name. She passed away a couple years ago. Okay, so sorry, right, making it kind of personal here. Want to do a good job. It's for Dorothy. If I accidentally say mom a couple of times, she never gambled, but she was certainly very proud of me being a high roller. Anyway, parent issues. Right. So rather than go over my paid consultation landing page, which doesn't sound like it would be helpful, I thought I would instead tell you a story, walk you through a paid consultation for Dorothy. Dorothy is a slots enthusiast from Atlanta, Georgia, planning a trip to play slots in the casinos of Biloxi, Mississippi. specifically Beau Rivage. Is that I don't know French. I know it's not Ravage. Rivage. I think Beau Rivage that wants to play slots in Biloxi, staying at the Beau Rivage. She also wants to ask about, could I help her with her yearly trip to the Las Vegas Strip? That's not coming up, like next week, like the trip to Biloxi is, but later in the year, she has typically goes once a year. So, I think I got caught up on. Yes, I'm caught up on the donations. So let's get into it. And actually, right. I think I've talked about enough. Yeah, so I've mentioned everything that I wanted to so far. If you're interested in the course, the link is in the show notes, the video description as well. So let's go through, and I'm going to look away a little bit because my other screen's over here. Right. So Beau Rivage, but in Las Vegas, MGM and the Mirage on the Strip. So that's what Dorothy's interests are in. Can you see that well enough? I'm going to zoom in. Some of you are on phones, and I need to make this big enough for people of all ways of connecting. Okay, so we'll do that. All right. Now, one more little adjustment, and then I'll start working through the consult for Dorothy. Now, if you will have and I'll work through consult with Dorothy. Now, you will have your own questions. Maybe you're a high roller. Maybe Dorothy is not. So we will, I will switch it for you. You could be in another state, maybe a place that doesn't have return statistics. But I'm trying to give you an idea of, take the fear out of this. On my last consultation yesterday, the day before they called up and they called me at the number at the bottom of my website and said, "Everybody, here's my telephone number right there." It's voicemail text, but if I can, I'll answer it. And my email. And this person called me up and said, what with the internet these days, I don't know. I don't know if you're a real person or not. So I wanted to call and see if I can get a human. And so, I was like, I'm human. Hi. And in any case, if you are interested in having a consult, I thought this would be a great way to answer your questions, but to answer Dorothy's here. So let's start. First question. Beau Rivage, pardon my mispronunciation, MGM and the Mirage. So that's basically what was put into the entry on submission form. So, okay, we're going to go to Biloxi. I'm going to talk about that first. Then I'll go to Las Vegas Strip briefly. And then after I kind of show you what's available, show Dorothy what she's looking for her trip, then I will do a brief introduction to Las Vegas, and then we'll get into specific needs for her strategies. And that's kind of the structure that, just to get you familiar with this, take the mystery. I did that when I was teaching college physics. I said, it's not meant to be a mystery. I will explain the physics to you. If you're not here, then you don't get it. But if you're here, it's not like you have to struggle to understand what the heck I'm saying. I'll say it so you understand it, but will you get it or not is kind of on you. So you shouldn't have to, be mystified by how a consultation will work. This is my example to share with you. And the cats are active downstairs. I can hear them. Right. So MGM gaming statistics. This is MGC, Mississippi Gaming Commission. And that is where we're at there. And I just provide that, but there's a specific location in this Mississippi Gaming Commission statistics where we would go. But I also want to mention that I have a resource, like I have told you fairly often. I do state-by-state articles once per year for every state, territory, and the federal district. And this is the basic format, and talk about a bunch of different things. Here's the Gaming Control Board in its usual spot, a list of all the casinos with links to them, a map of the state. Also, this is showing how the Gaming Commission separates out a northern region, central region, coastal region. And I could see from the live chat, a lot of people are like, Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Las Vegas. And one person is going to Beau Rivage on Monday. Okay. Right. So if we go down to just before the summary, we have payouts and returns in Mississippi. And again, Mississippi Gaming Commission, but I also need to tell you that there is, as I mentioned here, that they do have monthly returns on slot performance, a win percentage. Now, this win percentage is not how much the player wins. Usually, it's more often that. But Nevada and Mississippi like to say how much the casino won. So you have to subtract it from 100% in order to know what the return is. But Mississippi and Nevada both give by denomination, returns by denomination. And so let's just, I'm explaining while I'm doing this. So I'm going to try to do more of the consultation and hope that you understand the rest of my free content to make sense of the consultation. Okay. Most recent report from Mississippi is for June 2021. And if we go to that, it is here. Now, this is broken up for June into this, as I mentioned, the central region, the coastal region, and the northern region for June 2021. Now, at the end of the northern region, they have overall for state. Here, this last one, 8.72%. Make sure I get my numbers right. So that's a 91.28 return. Well, that's interesting. As you may, if you've been a fan of the show, I've been collecting all of the statewide returns. I don't have all of them. There's 15 states that do it, basically around 11. I thought I'd show you these more and more. But if you go to Mississippi, this is from the beginning of 2019, including gaps when they were closed due to the pandemic. Hard to kind of read these numbers. So let's look at the graph. And I have it currently set up for Nevada. Let me grab this and go over to Mississippi. And now this is the map of returns by month since beginning of 2019 for Mississippi. This is the gap when the casino was closed for part of April and all of May, I think it was, something like that. They had it low returns just before they closed, might have been only open a couple of weeks or a couple of days that month. But then when they reopened, it was very low. This is where I did all this report, so prior live stream, so you knew, are they still trying to take money from you? This is the player win percent. So the higher it is, the better. And this is month by month. So last month for May, the prior month's report that was available was pretty good. But in June, it dropped by about a full point, 91.3, 92.2, almost a full point. And, just to help you understand, a full point is noticeable. Relatively noticeable, yeah. If you had a 2.5% difference, if it was an improvement of 2.5%, that's worthy of a backflip. And I can't do a backflip, but I'd still try, because that's what excitement is. And if you look at all of these states, if I were to show you all of the states, and I don't have the recent data for the last couple of months, everything goes between 90%, mostly the bottom one here is Indiana, and 93% mostly, which is Nevada, and somewhere in the middle of all that is Mississippi. So kind of this one right here. So it's in kind of the middle of the pack. But this last month, it really dropped. And I report this, I do all this analysis for my customers, for my clients, for my people I'm consulting. And I say, well, last month it wasn't really good. Maybe it's going to stay there. But look at this. This is 2019, January back here. This is the second lowest of 2 years and 4 months, 5 months. It was lower here and lower there, which is kind of an outlier. But this is the third. So, I report on these things when available in my consultations. So I'll put this away for the moment, and don't show you that. So let's look at by denomination. Let's say that you are Dorothy. Dorothy says here $200 to $500 bankroll. Not a high limit player. When Dorothy goes to the casino, they take $200 or maybe $500. So let us see what you might play. Now, this is by denomination, but what's great about Mississippi is it also has progressive. And the win percent over here is the casino win percent. So the bigger the number, the more the casino makes. So you want a small number because that's more what's returned to the player. So the smallest numbers are better. Instead of subtracting each one from 100, I will just tell you smaller is better for you, bigger is better for the casino. Look at penny slots. The first two right here. It's hard to highlight these things. I can do that. Let's do that. Excellent. So penny slots. Okay. Over here on the far right is basically very, very similar. 0.2% difference. It might, 1% is noticeable. 0.2, you might kind of notice it. It's hard. So it's not really much difference between penny progressives and penny non-progressives. But let's look at nickel. Again, it's more than 0.2. It's less than 0.2. It's 1 and 0.15. Okay. So not much difference there. Dimes, quarters. Look at this. 2.3%. Remember backflip, 2.5%, 2.3%. If you're going to go to Biloxi, which is in the coastal region, most of the casinos in Biloxi count for almost all of the casinos in the coastal region. If you have a choice, if you have $200 to $500 bankroll, play quarter progressives. Avoid quarter non-progressives because you'll gain a 2.5% improvement. Now, one of the difficulties here, and if you're a high limit player, I would be talking more about what's going on down here. Also, this state has other denomination, and it becomes a question of whether or not. Actually, this state takes its multi-denominational machines. This isn't it because there's only 20 of them in the coastal region, so that doesn't count. If you were to play a multi-denominational machine for, chose 50 cents, or I should say, 50 cents versus, a quarter or a penny, it would drop it into the appropriate denomination. It doesn't have its own separate line item for multi-denominationals, but we'll see that in Nevada. Okay, so my suggestion, based on the results with the bankroll size that Dorothy's working with, is her best bet, and I think, is that right? The best overall return out of any denomination in the coastal region, progressive or not, is actually quarter progressive. Now, the downside, or I shouldn't say the downside so much as the difficulty here, is that there are 8,695 penny machines out of just under 12,000 machines. So 3/4, what, 6/8, 75% of all slot machines in the coastal region are penny or penny progressive. So you actually have to struggle to find these quarter machines. Now, if you, I'm going to do that again. Understand that there are 4 times as many quarter machines as there are progressive machines, quarter progressive machines. So, the work that needs to be done here to gain this 2.5%, 2.4%, 2.35% improvement on the odds with finding quarter progressives is there's only 200 of them at the 9 casinos in Biloxi. So you'll have to go looking for them. But then that's the advantage you get. So a lot of walking. And on the other hand, you might ignore this advice because it is hard to do that much walking, and maybe there's walking issues, and people like to stay in one spot a lot. That's common. I used to think it was terrible odds on penny machines, and it is terrible odds on penny machines. But the thing is, there's 8,695 of them, which means the distribution, matters. Some of them will have great odds. Some of them will have terrible odds. And the average is this 9.7-ish%. So not all of them will be set to 9.7%. Some of them will be 4%. Some of them will be 10%, 15%, whatever the lower limit is on Mississippi, that could be at that lower limit just to have the other ones balance out so the average comes through. So I'm kind of like penny slots lately because the casino's filled with them, and that means there's more distribution across the different odds to make this average. So, okay, and we'll, teaching these concepts, which you may know. Right. So that's all this section. One of the other things is I have Facebook groups, which I don't like to. I'm going to have to interrupt myself because I have a question. I think I'm not missing questions, right? Right. Hoping this gets my almost $20 joke. Smarty Pants won a $1,200 hand pay and wanted to give me $20, but the first attempt didn't know how to switch the number from the lowest donation you could make. So thank you very much, Smarty Pants. Congratulations on your hand pay. Please let us know if it was your first one, because extra congratulations if it's your first one. I'm glad that you're able to do that. And thank you for crediting me for that, which you did in the last note. Okay, so next piece of advice is, I can't be in every casino. I can't be in, if I go 2 a week for the 1,000 casinos in the United States, I get to all of them in 10 years. So again, I am trying to be genuinely helpful. And people say, have you been to my casino? And I'm like, no. But I have a Facebook group where 380 people who are local to you like the casinos in your state, and some fraction of them might actually go to your casino last night. Why don't you ask them how it's going? Maybe they've tried my 5-spin strategy there. Maybe they like I'll just say Bo. Maybe they like the Casino Bo, and maybe they've said something about it on my Facebook group. Now, you don't have to like Facebook group. I have my own issues with Facebook, but it's a service to you. It's a service to you. I will actually do things I dislike, like being on Facebook, to help you. I'm now over 10,000 members in my Facebook groups, and climbing rapidly total for all 57. So yeah, so much for not liking Facebook, but and it's a service that's all free. There's no payment. And there's a search option. You can go to Mississippi Slots Enthusiasts Facebook group private. If you join, then you can see what's there. I'm trying to limit what I could show you these comments in that group, but if you're not a member, it's private, and I don't want to violate the privacy. So I am sharing. Just the comment, not who said it. And so I'll just put this briefly on the screen about a comment from May, comment from June, another one from later in June, won 2 majors back to back at that casino, went there from West Palm for a Monday through Thursday trip, and then they went next door, and then they went there, and they did this, and Smokey over there, left money there, came back to Bo, loved the generous comps, free play and size, and so they gave a trip report. That's only at the time like just over a month old from now, a month and a half old. So that's recent information. And so I offer that as a service. Now, we are doing fairly well. I want to make sure there's not too many questions. Right. So I see a quick question online. Or on the live chat, I will answer it, which is go to my webpage. Is it Haley? Go to my webpage, professorslots.com. Go to state by state. Go to summary article. Or you can go to every article. But I think it's faster if you go to summary article. And every state article is alphabetical, and these are the Facebook groups. So if you wanted to go to the Facebook group to join, you could click on one of these. I won't do that. So alphabetically, these are my articles. And if you were to go to Mississippi, or actually, we think we need to go to Nevada next. So let's do Nevada. It's a long one because it's just so many casinos. Go to, did I pass it? I passed it. Nevada. There you are. And I put a summary there, but the links that you're looking for are going to be, under, it's always in the same location, gaming control board. There's that, but that's not what you asked about, where to find these tables. If you go down to the payout returns, and then there's a lot of casinos in Nevada, so pardon me while I scroll, and there's the map. But then just before the summary is payout returns, there's some stuff about theoretical payouts, and then there's all these on the Gaming Commission under statistics and publications are the gaming review information, revenue information, and then what I do in the article is the most recent one available. I'll do a coverage there, but that was done in 2020 and needs to be updated. It's on schedule for soon. So then in Nevada, you go here. Now, not every state offers these. Only 15 states offer monthly return statistics. So it could be that the reason you can't find them is because they don't exist. But if you go to ProfessorSlots, this is a shortcut, ProfessorSlots.com, ProfessorSlots.com/2-letter postal designation, NV. And that'll take you to my article. And if there is a place where the state provides it, I will provide a link. How's that for an answer? Continuing with the consult. I think we're doing good on time. So for Nevada, they wanted to go to the Mirage, MGM Grand. I have a Nevada slots article. I have an article on Las Vegas about, so I have a casino visit where I'm just going to be there for a week or a few days. And I explain 7 things to do, some beforehand, some while you're there, some afterwards for preparation for the trip. Then the usual information, if they have one. Nevada, Mississippi has a lower limit. I skipped right over this. A minimum limit of 80% and a maximum limit of 100% on their theoretical return limits per wager. Per wager is something Nevada also does, but they only have the lower limit. So as long as they don't drop below 75% on any particular wager, then they're good to go. But the 100% that Mississippi has is actually kind of limiting for the casinos, because they can't just, make the machine by the door a winner. Exactly. But they can raise it to 100%. So that's kind of what winning looks like in Mississippi. But in Nevada, there's no such upper limit, and they can, set it to the moon, 200%, whatever. Not that they necessarily would, but for promotional reasons under a certain budget, they are legally allowed to make it a winner. And they might do that for good business reasons. All right, so there's a statewide, there's the Strip, there's the downtown. Briefly come back to, darn it, not that one. Come back to, where are you at? Return statistics, Mississippi. So I will do this. I got the least recent Nevada ones. The most recent one available from Nevada is May. June has not been released, or it hadn't been by yesterday. So this is Nevada. This is at around 93%. It's been going up just a little bit, but also notice these are, kind of tied for the lowest dips since beginning of 2019, except for 2. So these are all, basically they're touching the bottom of the lowest previous ones, except for these 2. What I wanted to show you is how Nevada performs relative to all the other states that I have on my list here. And I'm going to do this in my live stream probably for every time, or at least once a month. Every time this gets updated, just show it briefly somewhere in the live stream just to keep you appraised. This brown one across the top, that's Nevada. It's above everybody. And then we've talked a little bit about Indiana here being the gray one at the bottom, and Mississippi being this one kind of shooting through the middle. And so it's only a band of about 3%, maybe a little bit more, 3.5% from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high on average. Almost 94 for a few moments here when Nevada is doing pretty good and trying to get people to come back to Las Vegas. But that's the spread on average for the, 11 states. There's 4 more I need to do. They're harder. There's a lot of math. There's a lot of accounting to do. It takes time. Right. So 45 minutes into our consultation. This is kind of stuff to talk about. Now, Dorothy has particular concerns. The focus of the meeting. A lot of this is to help with that. And I would have actually gone through it faster, but I'm half explaining to you at the same time and taking donations. So half the meeting the consultation would be spent on these questions about the focus. So wants a working system to maximize profits, wants some specific guidelines to follow. That's pretty general questions. I do prefer a longer statement about the focus, because that's a little bit general, but you work with what you got. But so specifics are, they have an upcoming trip to Biloxi. They want to stay at Beau and Rivage, and also like to know about the Las Vegas Strip. And so we had a comment from the Mississippi group that they had used the 5-spin strategy, and which you may or may not know about. Link in the you'll be able to find it. I don't know if the link will be in the description here. It's easy enough to find. It's probably why you found me in most cases, but it's popular. But I have several of those videos, and the first one had a lot of questions, so I answered them in the second video. And that question, I didn't get to all the questions, so they had more. And so the third video is actually 3 videos in a playlist. And that is the latest and greatest on the 5-spin strategy. Now, I think the first one is hugely popular, and the other ones haven't got that attention. So whenever anybody watches the first one, I say best is to watch this other. Okay, here we go. And interrupt everything for a donation. Rodney is a course member and hit the a member of the online course. Rodney hit his first hand pay for $1,405 on Sunday, last weekend, and then hit $1,398 dollars 3 days later. I watched last week's video before my visit and picked my machine. Thank you. Well, thank you for the $20. I very much appreciate it. It goes to my being able to continue. You're quite welcome, and thank you for purchasing. Of course, I appreciate that as well. Keeps everything up and going. Good. Right. So so getting back to Dorothy, I want to show you. Let's see, which one is it? Nope. Nope. That's for later. That's for later. Stop. Don't be. Ignore that. Ignore that. We'll talk about that in 5 minutes. Yes. Well done, Rodney. You deserve. You did all the work. Right. So I want to show you this other video. I want to show you an image, which is, where are you at? I want to show you this. I want to show you this. All right. Now, this is Beau Rivage high limit room, except I got this from the web page. Let's back up to wherever that is. Beau. You go on to the slots page. There's a few photos sometimes that will help you do the strategy 9 location. And if you go under slots here, there's actually a picture of the high limit room, and you can zoom in. Now, Dorothy, or rather actually somebody else, informed me this is an old photo. But if you had a current photo, it's, in the high limit room, not that Dorothy would, but other high limit players might play in the high limit room. You stand about this location, 15 to 20 feet in front of the high limit room. We were talking about this before the show started in the live chat with Jan, because she was at Mesquita, in the casino in Eastern Texas, class 2 machines, where you want to play machines that are prominently displayed, but not those that you can see from half the casino away, because the casino is trying too hard. We'll talk about strategy 9 sometime. But if bar and on the right, center is something else, lounge maybe, and then over on the left is where the machines are. Well, if you're standing 15, 20 feet in front of the entrance, what machines can you see if somebody were to win on? It wouldn't be the ones that are facing away from you. It would be the ones facing to you. But if it's in the back of the room, they have to be actually high up, like Wheel of Fortune wheel. Not a display high up, but the results projecting over the machines in front of it so you could see it from outside the room. That's how I won so many jackpots on Wheel of Fortune machines in the back room of the high limit room, the back wall at the downtown Cincinnati casino, because you could see it out on the casino floor, which, by the way, where all the table games were, just lined up, straight shot looking into the high limit room. See the spinning wheel in the back where I'm spinning the wheel on the Wheel of Fortune machine. How many times did I get somebody? I didn't keep track. How many times did I get somebody to come into the high limit room from the main casino floor? Casino loved me for that. So they were giving me hand pays, but they were making money because of it. And that's the basic philosophy behind strategy 9, location. So if you have the other thing you could do as a low limit player is stand in front of your high limit room and turn around, face away from the high limit room, and look. What do you see? It's usually the widest aisle. It's usually the widest walkway in the casino. Well, walk down it until you find an intersection, and then you might see something like this. Now, this is Soaring Eagle. Somebody asked me for a photo, and I was like, I can't share photos. And they're like, could you do an illustration? And I can do an illustration like 2 minutes flat. So I made them an illustration basically of this intersection at Soaring Eagle in Michigan, tribal casino. I think it's the second largest, certainly the largest tribal casino after MGM Grand downtown Detroit. And there was a row of 4 machines at an angle, and and there was a taller machine at the other intersection, and then some of these others. So I'm not going to make this a quiz question or like pick the winning slot machine. Is it the one on the end that's facing almost kind of directed towards this intersection, or is the one that is, and then if there's a row of 4, use last week's description of how to play a machine, 10 bets, 20, if nothing, stop, move on, harsh love, tough love, 20 bets. Go to 20 bets if you do win something. Decide if you want to continue to 100 bets, and then 100 bets you decide, is this a winning machine or not? And that's my method for evaluating whether it's a winning machine. We talked about it an hour last time, and I did that with, may I say, Paula? I did this with Paula in May, Mother's Day, where there was 4 of these, and she was off doing some other stuff, but she came back when I was finally I started in this machine, went to this one, number 3, number 4. Number 4 was the one, it was going to be one of them, or this one. I never got a chance to play this one. And that one, if you're going to Sword and Eagle, you walk the casino, find this, play the one on this end. Free. There you go. And that's the one I got a mini on. I got actually twice. This is all in like 30 minutes, and just bonus round after bonus round. I got additional rounds in my bonus round. It was just substantially different from the other 3. And Chuck and I saw something like that, only not as severe. We wish, right, Chuck? Actually, he's giving blood, so he might just be listening. He said earlier, where it was like 2 bonus rounds, and we were like, I would have preferred 3. So we talked about that last time as well. Look away from the high limit room if you're a low limit player, and just walk the casino, find the intersections, and see if anything like this is set up. Now, as Jan knows very well, I went to Delta Downs in Louisiana, and they didn't do anything like this. There wasn't even machines on the end of the row. It was like, I need to talk to the casino executive about what are they doing? So they have a racetrack, and I guess that's what their experts are experts about, what their executives are expert about. But they sure don't know how to set up the casino for the casino to make money. And I love it when they do that, because I have countermeasures, which I use when they do that, or I win. They give tastes. I say, to get people to play longer. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop. And then I'll move to the next machine and I'll start collecting tastes. But Delta Downs, wow, I guess you might call it an advanced strategy. They didn't have a strategy to take advantage of. Well played, Delta Downs. Well played. So those do exist. I previously said Strategy 9 exists at all casinos. Well, it turns out there's a few that don't have that. Who knew? 5-spin strategy is like 25%, 1 out of every 4 casinos. And it looks like, Strategy 9, location is 99.9% of casinos. What is 1 divided by 1,000? It might be more than that, 2, 3. How many casinos in the United States don't have anything like that? So I'm kind of getting to the end here. I haven't gotten to a lot of the questions. I tried to answer as many as I could before we started recording, but it's in the live chat. I don't share the live chat later. It's only during the live stream. I'm going to quickly scan in the minute and a half I have left to see if anybody who is a member of my YouTube community, and I only have the $2.99 a month that I think it is, and see if they have questions, because I prioritize them. So, scanning. Pardon me. While I focus on helping members. Haley is a member. I answered your question about finding the tables. Would like to have something similar for French casinos. Yeah, this is legitimate information, is only available from the government. So go to, like, Canada has some of this for its provinces. So if you're in France, then I haven't gone outside of the United States, and I believe maybe they have an English version, which I can read since I don't read French, you can see what they have available, but I'm showing you examples. I'd love to go worldwide, but the language barrier for me is right. So I'm going to quickly keep on checking. Haley says, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I think, right. I do have a question from Magpie. Magpie asks, do you take notes after every slots session? Yes. Part of the reason why but I usually leave the casino, or at least the casino floor, because I've been asked not to take notes. One of the things I'm consider trying, a lot of casinos don't allow recording, but turns out my Apple Watch has a audio thing. So if I'm kind of like, well, note to self, would they notice? I don't know. But normally I do one thing at a time. Like I work on one strategy at a time for the morning for an hour or two, and then maybe I take a break, take my notes, come back in, do one thing at a time. It's a little harder to take notes when you're just like, well, I played 50 machines and I don't remember the first 25. So and someone made a suggestion, text yourself notes. I had an early scare on using electronics. I know we all have phones now, but there's actually laws on the books from before phones in many states making it a felony to use a gambling device to help you win. And this is all before mobile phones. And so there are laws in the books about it being a felony. So I like to use paper. I don't like to use it on this casino floor. I'm not providing you with any bail money. The primary focus of this live stream was to tell you, I try to be helpful. This is how I'm trying to be helpful. But no bail money. Sorry, drawing the line. Tough love. Okay. And if you like my sense of humor, great. If you don't get it, still no bail money for you. I don't understand your question, Smarty Pants. Do you still continue with minimum bets when testing the 100? Magpie 11 says they have bail money covered. Wonderful. Save some of your winnings, maybe the rest of you. Or Magpie 11, you got everybody else's bail money covered? I'm sorry, Smarty Pants. Send me an email if you like it, John at Professor Slots, and I'll try to answer your question. Okay, so that's it. I've gone over 2 minutes as usual. Thank you for your attention. Have fun. Be safe. Make good choices.